It would please me greatly to see buyers start catching some breaks these days. This video is a story of how and why home buyers might finally be catching a break. The REDFIN headline reads, more than 40% of home sellers are dropping their prices in Salt Lake City, Boise, Sacramento, and other pandemic hotspots. But the big news is home prices are dropping across the country. As an example, I'll show you something that's happening in Nashville that's blowing me away. I'll show you that in a minute. Let me be clear on what price drops mean so there's no confusion with market crashes or anything like it. Over the last couple of years, home price growth has been staggering. This isn't news. But with interest rates rising and buyer sentiment declining, because they're either priced out or burned out on house hunting, homes that would have sold for full ask or more in days are now sitting on the market waiting for a buyer. In order to entice a buyer, the seller will lower the asking price. This is a price drop. Will the house sell for more than it would have last year? 100% absolutely, but not at the same rate of gain. In other words, the growth curve is slowing. When this year's house sells for less than last year's house, we will be having an entirely different discussion, let me assure you. But as for now, no crashing. But this is great news if you're a buyer. Let me explain. If you're a buyer still in the market, you're going to be able to do something that has been rare for quite a while now, but I'm saving that to the end. Currently, there are two types of sellers in the market. Those who already know the market's cooled and those just figured it out as they go through the selling process. The first type saw this coming and listed quickly before the chill settled in for the long haul. They're hoping to cash in on any remaining buyers that are still in the heat of battle and desperate to find a place. Frankly, trying to make a last-minute profit. The second type is learning about the cooling market after they've listed and every time they call their agent asking why their home hasn't sold yet. They may have insisted on pricing high thinking the market's still on fire. This seller is finding out, like so many others across the country, what we're talking about here, and are learning the hard way the market is cooling, it's here, and it's real. A telling metric, a predictor if you will, is the decline in showing requests. Showing Time, a service that manages, you guessed it, showings, reports a 35% decline in showings in the West and 12% decline here in the South where I live. That metric screams lack of interest to anyone who's listening. Let me tell you what's happening in the Nashville area right before my eyes. Keep in mind this is one of the very hottest markets in the country, and it's astonishing, really. I get Zillow notifications when a listing drops its price. I have no idea how that got set up, but I do. And here's my March email sorted by the term price drop. Not much to look at. Then April and May starts to show some action. And the beginning of June, about the same. And here's the end of June, absolutely mind-blowing number of price reductions. Each one of these is a seller yelling, hey, look at me, look at me. I don't have to read too many articles to know something has changed. I'm seeing it in every other email, it seems like. Candidly, you should see the chatter in my professional Facebook groups. There are a lot of, is this happening in your area, too questions flying around. As for the rest of the country, look at these numbers. Price drops, up almost 47% in Denver, 44% in Boise, 37% in San Diego, 32% in Phoenix. The share of homes with a price drop increased from a year earlier in 102 of the 108 metros. This is massive. It declined in 6 metros, 3 of them in Illinois. McAllen, Texas, Elgin, Illinois, Chicago, Fresno, Lake County, Illinois, and Springfield, Massachusetts. And as for buyers, I'd go as far as to say many buyers are demoralized as they went from being willing to seriously overpay for a house just to get into one, and now with rising interest rates, the $500,000 house they were budgeting for looks a lot more like $400,000. My heart goes out to home buyers that have really taken a beating this last couple of years, especially for the first-time home buyers, but maybe now things are looking up. So what's the moral to this story? The silver lining, as they say? If you're a well-prepared home buyer, maybe you've sold a home and have proceeds to use or just saved your pennies and are ready to go, here's what you're looking at. Every day there will be more and more inventory for you to choose from. Yes, the high interest rate may hold some sellers hostage, but those that are listing anyway are tipping their hand. They're clearly motivated to move for one reason or another. You'll have the opportunity to be a bit more picky than in years past. If you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me say, wait for the right house to come to you. An active listing that's lowered its asking price means the odds of you offering less than asking and getting accepted is much better now. Here's a pro tip for you. If you're the only one making an offer, in other words, there's no multiple offers on a house, you may be able to ask for and get closing costs or have the seller pay title expenses for you. Again, if it's just you, you might just get it. It would please me greatly to see buyers start catching some breaks these days. If you like this video, tell a friend, give it a like to help me spread the word, and subscribe so you'll know when the next one drops. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.